Hello, YouTube! This is Unmasked Tuxedo. Once again, welcome to my video series on Braille cell meanings. This is part 3, the last video in this series, in which I will cover the punctuation and the prefixes. Most of the Braille cells for punctuation are on row 5. Starting with this cell, which represents the comma. I covered this cell back in part 2, when you learned that it represents the letters EA. The comma cell looks like the A cell shifted down, and the word comma ends with the letter A. The mnemonic for the comma cell is 2-for-1 deal, because it has two different meanings, and the meaning that does not appear in the mnemonic, the comma, is one of them. This cell represents the semicolon, and it looks like the B cell shifted down. As you learned in part 2, the semicolon cell also represents the letters BE and the letters BB. This cell represents the colon, and it looks like the C cell shifted down. The colon cell also represents the letters CON and the letters CC. I'm going to present two mnemonics at this point. First, the mnemonic for the colon cell is that the word colon begins with C. Second, the mnemonic for the semicolon cell is the word between, because the semicolon looks like a cross between a comma and a colon, and the word between begins with the letter B. This cell represents the period, and it looks like the D cell shifted down. The period cell also represents the letters DIS. The mnemonic for the period cell is that the word period ends with D. This cell represents the exclamation mark, and it looks like the F cell shifted down. The exclamation mark cell also represents the letters FF. The mnemonic for the exclamation mark cell is FIRE! Because you shout when you say it, and the exclamation mark often represents shouting. This cell represents the prime sign, which is also the symbol for minutes, and it looks like the G cell shifted down. The prime sign cell also represents the letters GG. If you put two instances of this cell together, they make the double prime sign, which is also the symbol for seconds. The mnemonic for the prime sign cell is on your marks, get set, go! Which is a command used to start a race, and races require keeping track of minutes and seconds. This cell represents the question mark. It also represents the opening quotation mark. The question mark cell looks like the H cell shifted down, and the mnemonic for the question mark cell is raise your hand if you want to ask a question. This cell represents the closing quotation mark, and it looks like the J cell shifted down. This cell and the question mark cell, of which the latter is also the opening quotation mark cell, are mirror images of each other, just like quotation marks. Next, we will move on to the punctuation in row 6. This cell represents the apostrophe. The only dot in this cell is dot 3. Therefore, the mnemonic for this cell is the sitcom title Three's Company. This cell represents the hyphen. The hyphen is like a bridge within a word, and the dots in the hyphen cell look like a bridge. Last, but certainly not least, are the Braille prefixes. This cell, which only has dot 6, is the capital sign, which makes the very next letter an uppercase letter. The mnemonic for the capital sign is The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. This cell, which has every dot except dot 1 and dot 2, is the number sign, the cell used to make numerals. The number sign looks like the V cell turned backwards, and V is the Roman numeral for 5. Therefore, use this mnemonic for the number sign. V means 5. You will learn more about those two cells later, but for now, you're going to learn the cells in column P. These 3 cells are initial letter group sign prefixes. The first cell in this group has dot 5, the second cell in this group also has dot 4, and the third cell in this group also has dot 6. To remember this group of cells, use this mnemonic, whole word prefix. The first word in that mnemonic has 5 letters, the second word has 4 letters, and the third word has 6 letters. Furthermore, these prefixes with letters make whole words. These 2 cells are final letter group sign prefixes. Each of these 2 cells has dot 6. One of them has dot 4 and the other has dot 5. For the cell in this group that has dot 4, use the mnemonic open wide for the dentist, because the word dentist begins with D, which is the 4th letter of the alphabet. For the cell in this group that has dot 5, use the mnemonic what a lovely egg in the nest, because the word egg begins with E, which is the 5th letter of the alphabet. We will go back to the cell in this group with dot 5 later. This cell is the currency prefix. Its only dot is dot 4. You use this cell to make currency symbols, such as the $sign. The mnemonic for this cell is for sale, which you can picture with the $sign. Finally, let's go over the cell with dot 5 and dot 6 one more time. Not only is this cell a final letter group sign prefix, it is also the grade 1 sign as well as the letter sign. In future videos, you will learn how this cell plays those 2 roles. Congratulations! You just finished the video series on Braille cell meanings. In my next video, you will learn some more Braille cell mnemonics. Until then, this is Unmasked Tuxedo, signing off.